Hey everybody, it's your buddy's pal Anthony. With me today is the man himself. We are going to be talking Ghostbusters Day. It was the 40th anniversary. It was his first time. It was my third one. There was a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to talk about it. Steve, roll that intro, please.
Who you gonna call?
So, yeah, like I said, I think this was my third one, your first one. That's a hell of a one to start off with because it was crazy. Absolute chaos. How did you feel?
That is a very accurate uh, wording for what that was. That was intense. I don't know, listening to the Buffalo Ghostbusters on other shows, they were on Extraplasm a couple times, and Dan was saying next year will not be as big. Like they're not going all out like they did this year. So maybe as far as like things happening, it'll be less, but I don't know if you go down people wise from here.
Yeah, I've heard the same things, and I'm like, yeah. The only thing less might be like what they do, like they had
Yeah.
the table raffling or just like giving away stuff for the winners. They had their
Yeah.
big HasLab raffle, which I swear I tried to get your name like taped to the bottom of the bowl so that they can just luckily pick you out. But
Yeah, it didn't work.
Dave gave me a stern look of disapproval, and I didn't do it. But yeah, no, they might do a little less, but I don't think any fewer people will show up
Yeah.
from here. And then just think how bad it's going to be in 10 years for the 50th.
Yeah.
If
That
you
one-
know, hopefully we're
That one's going to be intense. That's going to be
Yeah.
intense.
yeah. So, but I think the craziest thing was like just the line to get in to get like your merch and your autographs. Like,
Well, do
people
you want to
waited
explain?
online.
Do you want to explain
Oh,
what
yeah.
you mean?
So, so there was a line to get in. The Buffalo guys had Joe Cirillo, the police captain, towards the end of Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 84, however you want to phrase it. And also this year they had John Rothman. And so Joe was the captain at the end. You do your job, pencil neck, don't tell me how to do mine. And John Rothman, he was a librarian in the first one and actually in Frozen Empire. He made his return, which that was a nice little nod. Like, oh, hey, wow, it's the same guy. And then the Firehouse had some merch. Buffalo guys they had challenge coins and some other day of treats as well. And basically, on the side of the Firehouse there was a line, and that line, like serpentined so that you would have a queue, but then it went beyond the barricades and down the block, and basically wrapped around the block. Not quite back to the front door of the Firehouse, but pretty damn close. And it was like a 3-hour wait to get in to get your merch and your autographs. So
Yeah.
that right there, that was crazy. Like, I've only gone to 2 other ones, but like I said, it was chaos. But this year just seemed this was on another level. There's no other way to put it. And I mean, you
Yeah.
had so many more people. I mean, not just fans, but like you in your video, the guy from HasLab was there demoing stuff, so that was huge too. And then I wish I didn't catch him. I wish I caught him so I could play with him myself too.
Yeah. No, and you had a lot of random people just decide to show up. Some that aren't random necessarily, but they don't frequent in the community as far as like, streams, meetups, being a part of franchises. So I saw some people on Instagram that I was like, I didn't even know you were into Ghostbusters like that. And you pulled up 5-6 deep. So there are a lot of people who just, you don't hear them, but they're the casual fan that's out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it was in an anniversary event, I feel like that isn't too unexpected. It's nice to hear, but also it paid off obviously because there were multiple. How many ectos were there? How many? I went by the next day. There was actually somebody had I didn't get a picture, a Tesla with decked out like an ecto,
Oh, no
which was
way.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice.
He didn't have too much like stuff on top. It was just the decals. So hopefully
Hmm.
in the future, we see some more mods on that one. But yeah, just everything. Everybody in uniform, everybody just hanging around. I am sad. I don't remember who built it, but last year I saw somebody had done the trap, the RC trap
Yes.
for introducing Afterlife. So that was pretty cool, and I wish I'd seen them again. But yeah, no, I mean, I know I've said it like 10 times. Absolutely insane. I'm still tired from it. It's currently Wednesday,
Yeah.
uh, and I don't think I've recovered. You crazy bastard, driving back to Boston that night. Me and Steve Mercado, we were just like, oh boy.
Well, I wasn't the only one. You know, the Hasbro team, they drove back same day. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
guessing. I'm guessing. There was the Massachusetts Ghostbusters. They rented a charter bus. So while they didn't have to drive themselves, they left right after to come back. And then we actually met somebody. If I remember, I'll throw the picture here. I can't remember his name, but he made some cool art, and maybe I could show some stuff from the day. But he made some cool art, and it turns out he lives up here too. He lives in Western Massachusetts, so he left also after the event, and drove back up here. So I wasn't the only one, but he makes these here.
Oh,
Midnight
very nice.
Umbrella. That's the Instagram.
Very nice. Yeah, I saw somebody do an an art print of the groceries on Dana Barrett's counter from the first movie, and the egg, is popped out of the cart and then cooked itself, and all the other groceries there. It took me, like, I was looking at it for a second. I was like, what the hell does this have to? Oh, wow, that went really deep. And then I was just so impressed. I was like, I would never in a million years think to do that as, you know, anything. But so that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
And then, I mean, the cars. I feel shout out to Ectotech. I know he was working his ass off trying to get his 1A up and running, and it didn't happen. But that's okay because it's gonna happen next year. It'll be there. It'll probably be swinging by the firehouse. You know, I don't have a timeline. I'm just guessing here. A month or two once he gets it all dialed in. I did get I don't want to say what because that's his to say, but he sent me a video and just sounds great. So
Yeah.
I probably just gave it away because it's really what the hell else could it be? But,
Actually,
sorry,
that's
there's
not
a
true.
lot. I mean, there are.
When
a
it comes
lot.
to ectos, there's a lot of sounds. So
Yeah, that's true. So
yeah.
but sounds great. He's doing a hell of a job, and yeah, I can't wait for that. I only ever really see Ecto 1. I never see the 1A.
Yeah.
So I honestly always forget about the 1A. I'll be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
So
We didn't see that in Frozen Empire, right? Like as far as Easter
No.
egg type stuff, we didn't see it. They acknowledged that GB2 exists, but there's no visual of the Ecto 2.
no, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the only acknowledgement is they talk about like Ray has the container of mood slime in his shop in Frozen Empire.
Well, they also reference Statue of Liberty. They show it. They have like a news clip or something of the Statue of Liberty going down the street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I rewatched
so there you
it
go.
the other day for second viewing. And that's where some more of it's in my head.
Gotcha. I don't even know what viewing I'd be up to because I was a kid, so were you, when it came out, and I just went. I made my family take me to see that way too often.
Oh,
Squeezed my
sorry. I'm
fat
talking about
into the
Frozen
jumpsuit.
Empire.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that I'm only up to 2 viewings of. But Ghostbusters 2, yeah, that was a little bit obnoxious. But as usual, we're getting off topic here. All right, so, we're getting sidetracked here. Back to Ghostbusters Day.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of both said it, but to me, a crazy thing outside of everything that happened, For one, I've become more of a fan of the 2016 Ecto one. I don't know if that's sacrilegious to say. I kind of like it. I like how it stands out. But Hasbro being there was insanity to me, because here it is. I mean, we all expected them to be there. It was one of those, like, I don't think anybody was betting against Hasbro being there, but you have a product, you know, everybody wants. You're going to drop a pre-order. Nobody knows pricing or release date. And you purposely threw yourself to the wolves. Well, one would assume the wolves, because now you're throwing yourself into the fan base of the very things they're waiting for. And I think it probably went better than they would have thought. I'm speculating. But to me, that was a very brave decision to show up. And sorry, not just set up a table. I thought if they showed up, they would set up a table, just kind of sit there. People will come up to them, I don't know, see demos of stuff, and then that's it. They were walking amongst the people, walking amongst the crowd. And to me, that was insane.
Oh yeah, that's very ballsy on their part, because like letting. I mean, did he? I miss him. I saw your video, but was he letting people handle it?
Yep.
Right. I mean,
yep. You just had to ask.
I'd be an asshole. I'd be like, thanks. Gone. Like,
but you know what? You didn't have electronics in it. You didn't have electronics, so it's.
I guess, but that's just the New York. That's just the New Yorker in me. It's like same thing. People ask me, "Oh, hey, can you take a picture of us?" And you're like, "You're so dumb." Okay, I'm not calling them dumb, but I'm just saying.
Right.
Tourists, as a general crowd, tourists way too trusting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Haslab being there, Haslab walking around. More props to him, because he had the proton pack on.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I didn't see it, but based on your video, it looks good. The trap and the PKE, they look damn good. I'm sorry for everybody that he didn't have some, like, whatever, first generation or first version electronics in it for people to play with. But yeah, I mean, hell, that's coming sooner than later, because fall 2024, right? I mean,
yeah. So he didn't give any specific dates. I know Dave of Dave's Dimension was. By the way, shout out to Dave. When I release the video, there's gonna be a segment there, because I was hot mic'd the whole time. I had a wireless mic on my collar, so that I could record myself if if it's too noisy, it's a more directional microphone. So I caught on the mic when we ran into the HasLab guy. Or, sorry, we ran into Dave, and then Dave flagged us over and was like, hey, this is my friend, the real Nerdbusters, a.k.a. Nerd Affiliated, Archer. This is Hasbro. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, he has the two in the boxes. Now it's your turn to talk to him. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. So shout out to him for doing that.
Yeah. Shout out to Dave. Actually, real quick, also shout out to Dave's wife, Roxanne, because she just met her this time. Very lovely woman. And she was very kind, gift, and not twisting the knife here for you, but she had a Buffalo Ghostbusters t-shirt for me. Yep. And this is, the shirt's great, but it was a long day. I was starving. Handed me a Ziploc of 4 homemade Rice Krispie treats, which I was the only food in my stomach for way longer than should be acceptable as an adult. So, nice seeing you, Dave, but Roxanne, very nice. Real hero of the day. Saved the day. And I guess we have to go back and say Greg, Ectotech, does he announce his government name on the internet?
Yeah.
Okay. As I said, we have to
he announced he said my full name every time I saw him. He was just like, Stephen
Archer.
Right,
so yeah.
I was like, how do you even know that?
So Greg, Ectotech, little thief. He took swag that was meant for you. And Roxanne came up to me later and she goes, hey, And I'm like, "What's up?" "Oh yeah, I'll get Steve over here. You can," because she wanted to give you this.
Yes.
I was like, "Oh, I'll take the stuff for Steve." She's like, "No, no, no, I want to meet him. Dave talks
Yeah.
about you guys all the time."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, yeah, yeah." And then later on, I'm like, "Oh, you want to meet?" And then she looked a little, not like terribly upset. She was just like,
Right.
"Yeah, what does Steve look like?" And I showed her, I showed her your contact photo, and she was just like, "I didn't give his stuff to a man like this," or what she something to
Yeah.
that effect. I was like, "Oh no, who'd you give it to?" She's like, "Oh." She's like, "Oh no, who'd you give it to?" Or that's what I said.
Yeah.
Idiot. Take 3. I said, "Oh no, who'd you give it to?" And she points to Greg, and I'm like, he was too far away for me to go up, and like there was so many people between us and him. But Greg, taking gifts not meant for you, man. Come on.
I didn't have the heart to tell Greg. So
That's okay. You're from Boston now. You've gone soft. I'm an asshole from New York. Greg, you're stealing shit, bro.
Well, the best part was us trying to figure it out who it was, because she was like, "Well, how did it play out?" Oh, I walked back up to Dave like maybe like the third time for the day. All of this is before Hasbro. It was like the third time of the day, and he's like, "Oh, finally, like you're here, same time as my wife." He's like, "Hey, this is HeyArcher," and she looks at me, and then the disappointment, and she's just like, oh. We're like, "Oh, what happened?" And then essentially everything you just said. No, so the best part was we were playing the game of like, who was it? Like trying to figure it out. And one, we landed on, you knew the person,
Right.
because she said they were talking to you, and then I guess you told Greg to go meet her. So then she assumed it was me. So then I was like, "Oh, maybe you gave it to other Steve." Because
Right.
maybe Anthony was like, "Oh, this is Steve," and she's like, "Oh, Steve Archer," but not tall, sexy Steve. So I was like, "All right, well, let's go see if it's this." I was like, "Was he tan color?" She was like, "Kind of." So I was like, "All right, let's go to the bar," because Steve's at the bar right now. So we cross the
Of
street,
course.
go in there, and I was like, "Was it him?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "It's all right." She was like, "I feel so bad." I was like, "Nah, it's fine." I was like, "We'll figure it out. It's fine." And then that's when you sent us the text message that it was Greg, who also is very tan and also has good hair. So I was like, I could see where Greg and I can get confused.
Yeah, I would say your tan is a little bit better than Greg's, or mine for that matter.
I have a little more natural of a tan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because God loves you better.
Yeah.
But so I mean, aside from that, and I don't know, it was just great. Seeing everybody was great. Seeing everybody
Yeah.
in uniform, out of uniform. I did feel so bad for the people who waited like 3 hours on that line.
Yeah.
That was a lot. But,
Oh, wait.
you know.
We got to go back to the HasLab. That's where
Oh,
we were
shit.
before.
Okay, what were we talking?
Oh, so I was going to explain like how that whole thing worked. So Zach from the HasLab team, he has both the two in the box with him. And as you alluded to, I don't think you said specifically, but he was fully dressed up, like flight suit, HasLab proton pack, the 84 wand, and the two in the box. So he was pretty much there, like blending in with all of us. The only things that gave him up, truthfully, where he was wearing a bright blue shirt, and that bright blue shirt had the logo for the HasLab that was teased, which we could talk about later. So it was like weird that some guy had that as a shirt already. It was just announced that morning. And then he had the patch that's going to be given with the two in the box, the HasLab patch, I think it is.
Yeah, the yellow. It's like the no ghost with the yellow gear icon instead of the red. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had that on his uniform. So
Yeah,
that's where we were like, the thing of it is, honestly, it looks great. It looks great. Like, there was a guy later on in the day, if I can remember, I'll share a picture of him here. His gear was all like legit stuff. Like, to me, everything seemed aluminum, metal, everything. He was wearing gloves the whole time too. Like, I don't know how he was doing that, but his stuff compared to the HasLab stuff, I was like, to me, it looked the same. But I know for a fact his is like real material. So then in talking to Zach, it turns out a lot of the pieces on the trap, for example, are metal. So it's not just plastic. The holsters, they do have hard aluminum on them. And the wand, I mean, if the wand looked legit, like it looks like something one would assume is a functional something electronic, essentially.
Right.
And the part that has made me a little upset is as I've posted the videos online for people, everybody's complaining about how thick it is. Insert jokes. But they're like, it's too thick. And they're blaming the afterlife function on it being too thick because you need the not just the wings to go up.
Right, you gotta have the
but you have the trigger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But like in hand, I'm like, even if it didn't have those things, if you told me, oh, here is a functional PKE meter that does everything it's supposed to do in the movie, but like in real life, I would expect that to be a beefy piece of metal, not just like some thin remote. So I don't really know what people are complaining about.
I mean, I'm holding the spirit wand.
Yep.
Not that this will do anything for the people watching, but I mean, it's kind of slender. It's definitely so. I did notice, and it's funny because I'm also streaming you playing an old stream of you playing Spirits Unleashed, and I see your meter occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that the meter is actually more boxy, so it looks truer to life. Because I just had the Spirit. And I guess I didn't pay
Same
attention. So I mean, and again, I missed him, so I'm just basing it off your video. I don't get that at all. I don't get that feeling that it's too boxy or too much of anything. So I mean,
but also being mad about it is weird.
Yeah, it's. I you know what I'd be mad about when I have it in hand. If something feels off after when did we order this in December? Mm-hmm. After a year and a year of production or whatever they do and hopefully refining stuff, and I'm sure they have like focus groups and everything. If after a year the final product, but I'll wait till the final product comes out before I really feel anything aside from excitement.
Yeah.
That's me. Like, I'm annoyed. I think I mentioned when I got the 84 wand, I'm actually annoyed because I'm a lefty. So for me, the proper way to hold it is with my left hand on the back and my right hand holding the barrel. And I could do it, but I can't really do that because I can't flip the hand grip around. I'm quote mad about that, but I'm also not mad enough to where I'm going to go ranting about it. Like I just did here, but that's just for an example. Like, it's all
that's
relative.
a real gripe.
Yeah, and it's not even like a gripe. That's even better. I'm not mad about it. It wasn't enough to where I was like, I'm returning this or anything. So, what are you gonna do? There's always gonna be people who get too upset about stuff.
But nobody who saw it in real life was like talking bad about it. So I think for a lot of these people, they're just gonna have to see it to believe it. Truthfully. Mm-hmm. But no, that was, him walking amongst the crowd was great. Seeing that was great. My one last little thing on that. People were complaining like, oh, I wish it was a 84 version. And
the pack?
The trap and the PKE meter. Oh. But that's where I was like, the pack is Afterlife. The pack is not 84. So to me, it was a lose-lose for Hasbro. If they make an Afterlife, if they make an 84, make an 84 trap PKE, people are like, oh, it doesn't match the HasLab pack. But then they do, and it's like, oh, you're not matching the movie we want it to match. Like, it's a lose-lose. Holly, can you stop walking on the soundboard? Jeez, please. It's a good thing I have it muted. All the buttons went off.
Oh, no. See, a dog would just be asleep on your feet. I'm just saying.
That's true. Sure.
No.
But another person was walking actually two other people were walking amongst the crowd. We had the stunt double for McKenna Grace. She was amongst the people. Did you get to meet her?
I did not. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. The only reason I knew was, well, one, Experience Explorers, Matt, he told me that's who that was. But I was like, this girl sitting in the gunner seat of the Oklahoma Ghostbusters Ecto-1, and random people are taking pictures, not just whoever's with her taking a picture. So that was kind of weird. Then that's when I was like, oh, that's who that was. And then the other one was the guy from the end of the movie, Frozen Empire, who drove the semi-truck.
Yes, him I met. Mm-hmm. I didn't know about the stunt double.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought that was. I didn't. Shame on me, I guess. But I'm looking at him like, who the hell is this guy? And then I remembered, and I felt silly. I didn't ask him that. At least that would have been really embarrassing.
Well, it's funny. I yelled out a line from Last Action Hero. I was like, "You're the guy from the movie," but I don't think anybody else got it. And I lied, actually. There was one more random person in the audience walking around, and that was the widow of
Yes,
Ramis, right? Was it his or was it
Harold Ramis?
Yeah.
And who I also met, and 2-second interaction. Very nice woman. See, that's how fried I am. I'm forgetting all this stuff. That's why we need to talk about it, because you're helping bring my brain back to life. Yes, that was really cool. Met her. She had people with her, and I wanted family. I want to say. I don't want to say if it was a son or a daughter, because
it was family. Yeah.
Yeah. So family of some combination was with her, but that was definitely unexpected and very nice too. Pretty sure she was invited back to the firehouse, so hopefully that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just a great day, really, and so happy that the weather helped out. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, and the weather actually ended up not being that bad, not that bad at all.
No, I feel like
it got a little warm
year
towards
it was
the end.
Hot, yeah, but that's also everybody's just out all day and everything else. Like, it really was better. I feel like last year was not miserable, but it was much, much hotter.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Do you want to talk about any goodies that you got? Did you get any?
I actually didn't get any goodies aside from the shirt and the Rice Krispie treats, which, like I said, still the highlight of the day for me, because saved my ass.
Yep.
But did you got more goodies? Well, that's a lie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I did get one goodie that you also have. I picked up the coin, the challenge coin from Buffalo Ghostbusters, and that thing is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And when you if you can add a photo to this later, on the front of the firehouse, and Dan pointed this out to me, they actually, if you look right above the doors, you can read Hook and Ladder 8, which is just a crazy good detail on that coin. So, yep, that and the Buffalo shirt, those are my two hauls for the day. So, you got, nice. I don't know what you got, aside from the prints you showed a little while ago.
Yeah. Let me pull some stuff out here.
Swag, folks, before you get too excited. Just swag.
Swag. So I got a bunch of pins. Apparently, I'm going to be a pin guy as well as a patch guy. So the first one that I will call out, it was my welcome to Ghostbusters Day. I'm walking around. 2 minutes in, I run into Ectotech, Experience Explorers, Nick, Ecto-1, the whole thing. And Greg walks up to me and immediately starts to pin an Ectotech pin on my shirt there.
Yeah.
So got that one. That was the first pin of the day. And then
a shirt from Ecto, and I'm very happy that he they incorporated, I want to say, the Cadillac logo.
Symbol.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's the symbol into his logo.
Mm-hmm. Then I got one from, I don't know if this will come out on camera. Yeah. The Experience Explorers, Explore, Experience, Create. Got a pin from Matt. Got a pin from the Extra Plasm podcast. And then I got a twofer. I missed the third thing, but I got the pin. I showed it earlier from the Hasbro team. This is the logo. This is the logo from the teaser for the next HasLab. And then they were giving out stickers. I didn't get a chance to get a sticker, but they gave me the business card where I could then pre-order the 4-pack of O-ring figures that day. But I got it too late. It was sold out. And I was kind of happy because then I was like, all right, I still want to really think about this. I don't want to make like an impulse decision.
How much were they going for?
They're 45.
Okay.
The 4-pack. It's not terrible. I said 40 would be the sweet spot. 50 would be too much, and they went right in the middle. So Steve and I went to the bar across the street, probably, I don't know, 45 minutes in, a beer clock. And one of the things I mentioned in the video that I don't know if that'll be out by the time this comes out, but one of the things I mentioned was I wanted to run into a random celebrity that day. And Jane Fonda walked past us in the bar. Like her and a group went to the back to eat their food or whatever. But we were leaving and I saw, I mean, there was Ghostbusters in there, obviously. It's like right across the street.
Yeah.
And I see this patch and a couple other patches, and I'm like, wait, I know you. And it was the Tools and Props Etsy store. The creators or the people who run the Etsy store were there. And they hooked me up with a patch as well. Who are also up here in Massachusetts. I forgot. Another thing I got, by the way, everything so far I've shown, with the exception of the coin, was free. People just giving them out.
Oh, that's even better and more and very unexpected. I won't lie.
Yeah. So then I got 2 more pieces of artwork. Oh, and actually, I got a prize pack from you from the premiere. You had some leftovers for me.
And I'm amazed that I remembered to bring it. And by the way, while you're showing stuff, I'm very proud of you because it's been an issue in the past, but the shirt you got and the stuff I gave you made it home with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I've gotten him shirts from previous jobs, and it's, never survived the night.
Somebody has them somewhere.
Yeah.
So I got some more pins from this time from the premiere, from the YHS party and the I don't know, Chibi fans party. I don't know who else did it.
Yes, have some, and yeah.
What I do like,
did it, but that could be wrong.
no, it wasn't Buffalo. They weren't there.
It's New York Ghostbusters. Well, my brain worked for 10 seconds on this podcast. That was longer than expected. So.
I do like the pin of Garaka because I just realized, even though you showed it on your reveal, that he's wearing a suit, like a tuxedo for the red carpet premiere. I never really noticed that.
I didn't either until just now. Look at you. I would have definitely mentioned that in the... I wouldn't have noticed the hook and ladder 8 thing unless Dan had pointed it out either. So let's just say it's a good thing I'm not a detective.
So then Baby Belushi was walking around and he had some artwork. These are business cards. And all of us got this baby.
Ah, very nice. I do like his stuff, and he does a lot like where he'll put the real Ghostbusters in movie scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's very cool.
Well, funny you say that because I talked about that with Dave on last Thursday's stream, and Dave brought me this one from last year.
And that's the exact scene I was thinking of.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got them both.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Do you
So
want
yeah,
to?
that's pretty much
I
it.
mean, yeah. What do you think? So, the HasLab pin, if you hold it up for a 10th time, or cut back to it. So this is the HasLab pin, and it's a tire. So, Ecto 1, Ecto 2. What's this HasLab going to be? Both?
Well, the logo, it does have the fin on the
Okay.
H. So it's got to be 1 or 1A.
Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, Frozen Empire with the rust. Or it could be, or excuse me, not Frozen Empire. Afterlife with the rust, or
Right.
Frozen Empire with the red stripe on it. Well, not stripe, but red along the perimeter. I can't. The fenders. Or Frozen Empire with a red stripe running up each fender.
Well, so here's the question, right? It's like it's going to be an Ecto at this point. They just dropped the 1/18 scale Ecto 1, which was a repaint of the Afterlife one they made a couple years ago. And the goal of that one was to house the 4-pack of the O-ring figures. So that's what that one's for. So the next one logically has to be for the Plasma series, which is the 5-inch scale. People often think it's a 6-inch scale figure because that's what Hasbro makes, but it's not. They're actually more of a 5-inch scale. So it's going to be an Ecto for that. So the question really is, what's your max price point on that one?
What are the price of the figures?
$20.
And we're just talking the original 4. Are we talking the new crew as well?
As far as how much the figures sell for?
Well, I'm saying like it's $20 a piece. You said.
The figures, yeah.
Yeah. So am I spending $20 for the original 4, or am I spending $20 a piece for the original 4, or do I have to buy the new 4 and Lucky and Podcast and?
I'm confused by your line of questioning here.
So I'm just trying to say, like, who are the Ghostbusters in this 5-inch line? Is it just Ray, Egon, Peter, and Winston?
Oh,
is
it was the
also-
Afterlife figures. They didn't make figures for anything else so far. So
But what I'm saying is, who are the Ghostbusters? The original 4 as old
Yep.
guys
Yep.
are the
And
is
the ones
Paul
that you
Rudd-
have.
I'm saying, yeah. So is Paul Rudd and
No.
Callie? Okay, so
No.
not them.
No, but so they made. Let me. I'll fill in the blanks here. I think I know what you're asking. So, the Plasma series, they came out with 2 collections. You could say, you have the OG movie. Actually, 3.
Okay.
You have the OG movie figures, and they all came with a Build-A-Figure for one of the Terror Dogs. Then you had those versions, but with Ecto Slime or Ectoplasm on them, that glowed in the dark. Those didn't have a Build-A-Figure, I don't believe. Then you had the Afterlife figures that you had the OG 4, or actually you had the 3 in Old Man form. You had Lucky, Podcast, Trevor, and then a Phoebe 2-pack with
Ghost Egon.
with Ghost Egon. Yeah.
Okay.
So those figures came with a Build-A-Figure for like a standing Terror Dog that they showed at the beginning of the movie. It was just in ghost form, but
Right.
it's like they meant to have it in the rest of the movie, and then they didn't do it. Also, the OG movie collection also had Dana, possessed Dana, and what's the bad guy's name again? I'm forgetting. Gozer.
Gozer in the first one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
As
So
the as like the woman,
Mhm.
or as Stay Puffed.
no, woman.
Okay.
So
all right.
right now you
Well,
only
thank
have
for filling that
those. Those are the only figures you have at the moment, but they're all 5-inch scale figures.
out. With you. Gotcha.
Yep.
Um,
Oh, sidebar. And one of the things that pissed people off was they didn't make plasma figures for this movie. So Dave, for example, he took a Marvel Legends Ant-Man figure, got somebody to print out like miniature name tags, and made his own Gruberson because they didn't make that. They also don't have a Cali.
wow. Good on him.
So I'm guessing, if I'm speculating here, I'm thinking they're going to make those figures as unlockables on this HasLab.
Right. So then we're back to, what am I going to spend on this? Well, I tell you what I'm not going to spend on this. I'm not spending $500 like they want for the Cantina.
Do you want me to run through some pricing on previous vehicles?
No, I'm going to say, because I mean, they can't really stuff too much into it, I'm imagining, if they want to make you have room for the figures. So 200 if it has lights and sounds.
If it has license sounds.
Yeah, if it's just the Ecto, where the doors open and the hood opens, depending on how good the build quality is and the details, 100 and something. But am I being a cheapskate saying 200 max? Oh Jesus!
Here's
Well, then
why.
I'm not
But here's why. and 200 is probably my max as well. To be fully transparent, but we got to go based on history with this one. So the Engine of Vengeance did not back. This was their Ghost Rider vehicle.
Right,
And
okay.
we're talking about a 2-seater Charger. 350.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The Cobra his tank. So it's a tank, but it only fits 2 characters. Technically, you can get a third into the back of the tank. 300.
Wow.
And then if we go to the rest of the vehicles, everything else. Actually, no, there's one more 6-inch scale, and that is the G.I. Joe Dragonfly. Not released yet. We just got an update video on that one. Technically, that's a 2-seater helicopter with a display stand, $275. So everything
Now,
I've
are these things
mentioned.
doing anything? Lights and sounds?
So everything I mentioned has lights. They do not have sounds. Right now, there's a way that let me actually finish this one other thought. The HasLab Ghost for Star Wars, 500.
Yes.
That thing's
thing is
massive.
Huge.
It's huge.
Huge.
The Razor Crest. That one, the price is gone. I think that was 450, 400, something like that. So the reason I wanted to mention those two was a truly like scaled Ecto 1 to house multiple figures. It's going to be big. It's going to be big.
Yeah,
Has to be.
That's true too.
And to make it a HasLab, they're going to probably put lights on that thing. So honestly, if that thing is if it's under 400, I'm going to be shocked. Because they're going to have, I'm guessing, like good quality wheels on it, the lights. And then I was listening to a little bit of Yes Have Some yesterday, and they were talking about how genius it would be if some of the unlockables on this thing were like swappable doors, swappable roof rack, so you can make a GB1 or a GB2, depending on what you feel like. So
That'd be cool. And
if they throw all
there's
that stuff in there.
There's precedent because I have a Lego DeLorean, and it had you can swap some certain parts on it to make it look like the the version where
Right.
they have the white walls on it and a
Yep.
couple other things. So
Yep. Yeah. So
similar.
this thing's gonna be pushing 400. It has to,
I mean,
unless they're
guess
gonna
I
show
get
mercy.
it. I mean, again, maybe I'm being cheap, but then maybe if it does all that and it's huge, 300. But then I want figures with it too.
Yeah.
You know, don't make me spend 300 on this and then I have to go buy all these figures. Like, I mean, give me a Callie and a Gary. You know, if that's something that's not already out there. You know, or you know what I want? I don't know if it's in poor taste or not. Give me an Egon that's not a ghost, or just give me like I didn't like that how they the toy of him, how they had him like ghosts, like translucent. I didn't look good, and I am annoyed that I don't have that because you know a little bit of the OCD here that I don't have an old man Egon in the collection, considering I have old men other versions. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's probably going to be a pass for me then, just because I'm sure it'll look great. I'm sure if I do pass, I'll regret it. But I mean, I seem to have gone down this road of HasLabs that'll also double as cosplay.
Exactly.
And, you know, and not to beat a dead horse here, there's other stuff that they could do in that vein. There's the Gigameter from Ghostbusters 2. You know, give me a proper set of goggles. There's the whole 84 if they want to go super clean. There's real Ghostbusters if they really want to get crazy. That's my take on it. What about you? Pass or depends on the price?
No, we're on the same page. Like right now in my collecting journey, I'm back to one of my original stages, which is if I buy this thing, can I use it for something other than just displaying it? So,
Yeah.
you know, with figures, it's like, can I photograph the thing or is it just going to go on the shelf? If it's going to just go on the shelf, I'm holding off. But when it comes to stuff like that price point, I got to be able to use it for something else. And that's going to be cosplay. So it's funny, even with the two in the box, they cost so much, I don't even want to take those things out. Like my thought process is actually to use the holsters and hoping that somebody at some point makes or 3D prints a V-hook to match that. And then I can put that on my existing ghost trap that I usually take with me. I might take the meter. The meter's probably not that bad because it has the whole leather strap around it, so I don't think you'd really lose that. But I don't want to carry the trap around because that thing looks so nice. I wouldn't want to risk losing it or something.
Same. And also just because the trap component slides into the housing.
Yeah.
I would be, I mean, I'm sure it won't because it's going to be brand new and everything else, but I would hate to just be walking all day and then, you know, enough vibration or whatever builds up and then that thing, did it have a button release or was it just
So there's a
pulling
button
it out?
release.
Okay,
There's a
so
button release. But you're on the right track. You're on the right
I mean, I
track.
don't accidentally fall out and then, you know, I'm sure I would notice it, but then also I'm sure it could crack.
So it's not, my concern isn't even that part. It's the two side rails. Those pop off to change the sounds. Now, I think Dave asked him, will they be selling, you know, replacement parts for stuff? And it sounded like they said yes, but I don't know if that's what they mean. Something like that. So, my concern is, and actually, funny enough, earlier in the day, I had the hose connection on my pant leg, and going through the turnstile, it got pulled off, fell down. Luckily, somebody grabbed it for me. But that falling off, I'm like, man, the two side rails of this thing, if somebody bumps into me, like, how tight is that magnet on there, if there's even a magnet. I don't know. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to lose that.
And actually, I watched your stream. To Dave's point, and speaking of all this, when I had the HasLab at Comic Con last year, my ion arm fell off at
Yeah.
least 2 times. And
Yes.
thank God, thank Louis, maybe Mercado, but one of the guys, thank you, caught it or
Hmm.
noticed I dropped it, and I would have just been shit out of luck. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I'm on the same. We're on the same page. I was figuring just to use it for the holsters, honestly, and the meter. I'm not bringing the cable. I'll be fine without it.
No.
But I figure I'll bring the new the meter and go with that. But yeah, no, for something that's going to be more exposed, the spirit trap is fine.
Yeah. I don't even remember. Do you have a trap? Did I give you a trap?
You did, yeah. You gave me a trap, and after seeing your video, I already figured I'd be shocked if the current V hook replacement that Wes has, or if he can't just like easily do some Wes stuff
Yeah.
to it and make
Yeah.
it, because his is actually the thick one, which would be the one that's on the holster that we showed in your video. So he would have to make like a hollow one, and I'm sure he can do that to go onto the trap so that it can be received by the piece on the leather holster.
Yeah.
I think I said that right.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, and hopefully everybody listening does too. Let's ask the last and most important question. Do you see yourself doing this again? Are you making the trek? Are you geared up a bit? Are you gearing up a bit? Are you gearing up more? Are you going super incognito like some of us in this conversation? What are your thoughts?
I'm glad you mentioned that. So, two things. As I was talking to Extraplasm, Experience Explorers, we all were on the same page that walking around, the goal was to get content, interview people, photograph everything, video everything. It doesn't happen. It does not happen because at the end of the day, we're fans. So you kind of get distracted by taking it all in and being a fan. So I'm going to still attempt when I go every year. I want to go every year. I want to attempt to still document everything. But I think as far as dressing up goes, I would probably just keep repeating what I did this year, which is just the flight suit. And then, I had the belts, gloves hanging off the belt. Maybe I could I had the PK meter on my belt too. So stuff like that. But I do not regret not taking my proton pack. I was watching people bump into each other, like kind of get stuck, and I was able to just kind of like, as big as I am, I was still able to like bob and weave through people to get good shots and stuff. So I'd like to keep that going. So I think the proton pack portion of cosplay would stay to Comic-Cons and not Ghostbusters Day.
Yeah.
One exception. And that would be if we get a Julian situation where we have somebody who's able to record for us and take photos for us, then I don't mind putting the pack on, standing around, talking, shooting the breeze, all that kind of stuff. But if that's not the case and I have to be the one documenting on my own, or option 3, Ecto 1 lets me get a ride with him and I keep the proton pack in the back.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you have a whole year to become better buddies with Greg, to remind him about the shirt that he has that was meant for you, and how that's okay. You can hang on to it, and maybe next year you ride in with the 1A. Hell, if you guilt trip him hard enough, maybe next year you drive in the 1A.
Ooh, that'd be great.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Well, what about you? Do you think you would ever, because you also did not dress up for it. So if you had the choice, do you think you would, or you would also stay Civi/incognito mode?
I would say Civi. Maybe I'd have a couple things on me like you did, but I would never, especially because even though they say they're not going to do it as hard, I think it's just going to get crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
You know, especially like by this time next year, hopefully the cartoons come out. That's, you know, somewhat renewed interest. Well, keeping interest alive, and because it's a cartoon, new interest from children. I definitely see myself going as long as I can get off of work because I'm local. Why the hell wouldn't I go every year?
Right.
You know, it costs me nothing but, you know, subway. Well, the subways aren't that great. It could be costing me my life on a subway, but you know, generally speaking, it costs me nothing but, you know, train fare and time. So yeah, I would go. I'll keep going. Maybe toss on the suit one of these years and whatnot. But I mean, hell, next year I can even just be document you if you wanted to, you know, walk around and all suited up and whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep going, and maybe next year I'll start incorporating some stuff so that people know I'm more than just a passerby.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, I mean, as we've said throughout this whole thing, amazing day. Thank you to the Buffalo Ghostbusters for putting it on. Thank you to the guys at Hook and Ladder 8 for tolerating it. It was
Bless
insane.
their
And
hearts.
they had some. They had to go out a couple times. So good.
Yep.
And good on everybody for getting the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
Not like crowding around, and be like, "Oh, what's going to happen now?" You could have gotten killed by a fire truck if you weren't paying attention. So good on everybody for you know, being aware enough to step back and let them do their thing.
Well, that had to be exciting for them because when they loaded on the fire truck, the second they turned the siren on, just everybody erupted. Yeah, woo,
Yeah,
cheering.
that was nice that everybody did that. Totally unprompted. Nobody screamed, "Yeah, applaud them" or anything.
Right.
It was just like a genuine reaction. So I'm sure they appreciated it.
Well, we were joking. They just drove around the block. They
I
went to the
mean,
bar.
that would be crazy on their part because there was so many people getting back on the block was a pain in the ass.
It was.
So,
It was.
but yeah, I'm glad we took this moment and caught up. Naturally, we were going to be nice and quick, and I think we're over an hour into this recording. Do you have a clock going over there? I was kind of hoping you would jump in with an actual time.
Well, actually, when you said that, we had just passed the 1 hour mark.
Oh, perfect. So good a time as any to end it. You got anything you're working on for Comic-Con coming up that you want to update people on?
I don't think so. Not yet. I mean,
Okay.
kind of sidebar. I was hoping to have the Frank and Geek Electronics. Didn't happen. I know he's been going through some stuff. I think I saw him there, but I wasn't sure. I've only seen one picture of him online, and I saw a guy walking around, and I was like, it might be him. But considering he didn't say anything to me, I didn't want to just be like, hey, are you dude? And then put him on blast if he was trying to not be on blast.
Right. That's good of you. Well, a lot of people would not be so cool about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then remind me, people can generally see you twice a week. When?
Monday mornings, 8:15-ish a.m., Nerdy Coffee. Every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. HeyArcher Live. 2 different shows, 2 different vibes. Either way, you're stuck with this guy. I just realized that when I do that, it's literally 2 and then vibes, V. It's the same thing. I never noticed that until just now.
You got to get your icon to do that. Have a flip going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, couldn't have said it by myself. Thanks for being here. Thank you everybody who's watching or listening. We'll talk to you in the next one. Steve, could you play us out of here, please?